fraud, fake president change, whether it's the vaccines, whether it's global warming, whether it's the global media, whether it's the education system, manipulated wars. And these all are happening at once, together. Do we really think, therefore, that this is all being coordinated by men in dark suits sitting around the tables thinking, what should we do next, chaps? This is much bigger than that, and much deeper than that. And we need to go into these very challenging areas to start to understand how this is possible. Because there are levels of conspiracy research, a lot of them, that are also in denial. They're in denial that they need to look at their own religious, political, cultural belief systems and see if they're holding them back from going into these deeper areas. Because you can get to a point where you're talking about this group and this secret society manipulating this, you can go so far, you can't get into this level of coordination and explain how it's done until you get into deeper levels. So, there is such a level as people sit around the table, yeah. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper than that. It goes deeper than these levels, because this is still the level it's playing out from, or playing out through. It's not the origin of it. Then you go into levels, which I did, and I will in some details shortly, into these levels of reptilian entities. Can you imagine if you just come today out of curiosity? Bill, he's just said reptilian entities. He couldn't have done it. He did. He could. I heard him. We'll get into this deeply. And then, after that was introduced into my life, from about 2003 came all this stuff about the nature of reality, which is still unfolding. And it's this that allows us to understand the previous two. So the rabbit hole is deeper than this. It's going deeper and deeper and deeper. And more pieces are coming my way, just seeing how deep it is. But I just want to emphasize this before we go into the second section. It's to remain with this thought. It's all about the control of perception. It's about manipulating what we decode and don't decode as a physical reality. It's taking consciousness and enslaving it in the idea that it's a physical body and that's what it is. Manipulating the way we decode reality so that we see the world the way that the conspiracy wants us to see it. Now, on one level, like I say, yes, there are men in dark suits, women too, but mostly men, sitting round tables who are making this conspiracy happen. But they are still the players out of the conspiracy. They are not the origin of it. You go to the next stage, from the people in the public eye, the presidents and the heads of NATO and all these people and prime ministers, you go into the shadows, into the advisors and all that stuff. And now you're meeting another level of this conspiracy, which is more powerful than those in apparent power in public office. You go deeper still into those in the deeper shadows behind the advisors and all the rest of it. And then eventually, if you keep going with it, pick him up with it. You keep going with it, you go out of this reality. You go out of visible light. Because, like I was saying earlier, this is why that first section this morning was so important to get across first. We operate within a frequency range of visible light, which is what our sight senses will decode into holographic reality. But into penetrating the same space are other levels of reality, operating in other frequency ranges, called dimensions, densities, whatever you want to call them. And this reality is being manipulated from realities alongside it, vibrationally. And some of the entities that operate outside of visible light kind of don't look like we do. And this is what happens when people see a UFO and they say, look mate, it just appeared out of nowhere. And then it disappeared into nowhere. No, it hasn't. It didn't disappear out of nowhere, it didn't disappear into nowhere, or come into nowhere and disappear into nowhere. It entered the frequency range of visible light. Hey, look, there's a UFO. It left visible light. It's disappeared into nowhere. No, it's moved out of our frequency. And the things that we need to understand to get a grasp, any kind of grasp of what's happening, is that the cutting edge of human technology that we are aware of is like the Stone Age compared with what is possible, even within this reality of the underground bases and secret projects. But outside this reality, my goodness me, it's not even the Stone Age. It's counting beats. And so